Welcome back to the Cheerio Talk podcast. We are back with KARI today for part 2. I know you've been waiting a while for that part, and we've started to tease you a little bit in part 1. I hope you enjoyed the first episode. Anyways, welcome back, KARI. We're gonna take back our conversation where we left it off. You were finished with the part in LA, and now the second part will happen in New York. Are you ready to reminisce about what happened to you last year in New York?
I am always ready to reminisce about what happened to me.
Was it your first trip in New York, or did you go before?
No, that was my first trip to New York. I don't think it'll be topped, which is fine, honestly.
First
Yeah.
and best trip in New York of any time.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so tell us, how did you end up in New York with Ed, I might say?
Okay, so it was the day before the SoFi Stadium. I was on my way back from the Shriners Auditorium, the Subtract show, when Ed was doing the Subtract small stadiums and then the big venue.
Back to back.
Yeah. So I was on my way back. I had my friend Liz in the car with me. She goes to all Ed concerts with me. Love her. Okay, so do you guys have Ed community text in France? Like the texting thing where he can send out like mass things, especially to a certain group of people in the area.
He can send us WhatsApp text.
Yeah. You can also reply, but I don't think he does. So he sent out a thing a couple of days prior about something special. And I think it was like the little pop-up thing. I can't remember exactly what it was, but invite only. And so I signed
Invite only to the pop-up? No.
Yeah, and you can have a +1, but I was gonna give it to Liz and so that she had a chance to meet Ed, but I ended up not getting picked. So I was driving home from the Shriners Auditorium gig, and I was going through my phone to see if I had an email about this pop-up little special Autumn Variations event that he was hosting. It was invite only. And so we got a text message on Ed's community little chat saying, "We'd like to invite you to a special Autumn Variations event on Monday. Submit your name here for a chance to be selected. This is first come, first serve. You will receive a confirmation email if chosen." So I was seeing if I was going to get picked for that. And I did not end up getting picked, but I understand it. That was like an indie record store little session. I think he might have played the whole album in entirety. I don't know how long it was. I only saw a few things about it. There wasn't a lot of videos posted about it. But I got an email from Nicole from Atlantic Records instead of looking for that. And I prefer the email that I got over the one that I was wanting. It said Ed Sheeran / New York City opportunity. She said, "Hey, KARI. Hope you're having a nice Friday. Reaching out to see if you are free next Thursday / Friday. Would love to speak to you about an opportunity in New York City. Please let me know if I can give you a ring and the best number to reach you. Best, Nicole."
Okay. You know that it's much better.
Yeah, I started freaking out and I have the funniest video of me freaking out in the car.
Really? Who filmed you?
Myself. I was just like screaming and Liz was cackling, laughing at me from the passenger seat. It was so funny.
What's going on right now? What is life? My life isn't real. I'm coming home from Ed Sheeran show. I'm going to be there tomorrow, and I just checked my messages and I got a freaking email. And Liz is just laughing at me right now, but I don't understand what's going on.
You were freaking out, but still you wanted to document it.
Well, I knew it was going to be comedy gold, let me tell you.
This is just after reading what Nicole sent you, not after you found out what was going on.
Yeah. I'm like, New York City?
So, I mean, how did you even handle the call if you reacted this way?
I had a couple of... Well, that night, I didn't sleep at all before the SoFi concert. I slept 15 minutes. And
No way.
Yes. So I was absolutely dead for Russ's set when he opened for Ed. And I know that when Russ came back out, when Ed had him come back out for Are You Entertained? I was a completely different person. That man probably thought I was the fakest person alive because I was dying.
Like the adrenaline rushed into you
Yes.
suddenly and you woke up.
Yes, for all of Ed's set. And then, like, halfway through Macy, and then I died again, and then try to rejuvenate myself.
That gig must have been so crazy because when you're lacking sleep, your emotions, I feel like, get even crazier.
It was nuts. It was
And
nuts. It was
also
nuts.
listening to Autumn Variation for the first time.
Plus 1,000 people, yeah. It was crazy. Oh my gosh, Tina, I forgot to tell you.
What?
During SoFi, we were in line for Barricade, and I had met Kristen, who got, what was hers? When Will I Be Alright? She was in line right behind me with her friend, and she didn't know that I got a visit. I didn't know that she got a visit.
So wait, so do you mean another person who had Ed come to her living room was with you at the concert and you talked to each other, but you didn't know actually? Like,
Yeah. It's so crazy the amount of times that we have all met each other without knowing it
so
yet.
you met each other before that day? You knew her?
We met at the concert and then found out later that we both had it. I met Holly, who got Punchline back at the pop-up. I met Deborah, who got Paige back
Yeah.
at the pop-up. And then
And
then
none
somebody,
of you knew that. Wow.
it was
You just-
crazy.
This is so cool, but because this shows that you know how to keep a secret. You kept it to yourself
Mhm.
and you literally were in the same rooms together.
And
Wow.
then what's also even funnier, I don't remember who, but somebody got a video of Deborah and Alan getting engaged to Perfect at SoFi and
Mhm.
didn't even know them. And then whenever we were all talking about it in the group chat, they were like, oh my gosh, I got a video of it, and then sent it. And so that's their little connection. It was so funny at how many little connections we all had with each other
So
before we even
cool.
knew it. Yeah, it was crazy. And this was all after the living room stuff.
Yeah. And you had just met.
Yeah. Oh, one more thing that I forgot to mention. Along with the tissue, one of the security guards, Ed threw the pick out, but it didn't go past the security point. He handed it straight to me, and I have one of the guitar picks that Ed played on stage.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, from the SoFi gig?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I'm so glad for you. You really deserve that one.
It's not Ed Sheeran's set list, but it's fine.
Are you saying this because I got a set list from him?
No, not at all. I didn't know that you had that at all. Unless I'm forgetting something else. I think that officially closes the SoFi chapter. Sorry for going back again.
I know. I'm glad you mentioned it. That's really cool, especially like the connection between the fans, and you didn't betray the secrets that you all shared, but you knew each other from before, and I think that's beautiful. No, I'm glad that you mentioned that. That's
Yeah,
really
I
cool.
don't know how to bring it up to people without it sounding so. I don't like just be like, hey, guess what?
I get it. We are here. It's not a normal conversation, right? It's not a conversation or wherever in real life, and you're like, oh, you guys, add this, add that. You remember I got to. No, it's a podcast conversation. And today, you're spilling the tea for us. We want all the details, and I'm asking you that. So, I mean, do not refrain.
Okay. I'm trying to give you as much detail as possible.
Okay.
Okay.
Back
So,
to the main track.
yes, the main point of this episode.
Told us that you didn't get that private event. Instead,
Yes.
you got that message from Nicole and you got really excited. And then
Mhm.
she said she was going to call you. So what happened
Yes.
when she called you?
I was at just like a store, and Nicole calls me, and she does not give me much more details than what I've already received. What she does hint at though is she's like, So there's a possibility, and we wanted to know if you would be comfortable with taking over MTV's Instagram story if you would like. And I'm like, what is happening? What am I going to be doing? So, can't remember all the details. I said I'll hop on a plane whenever. It ended up being a 6 a.m. flight. She just wanted to know if I was down with it, all that stuff, and would I be comfortable taking over MTV's Instagram story. So I'm like, I have no idea what's happening. Like, the furthest thing from my mind was what actually happened. What I thought, honestly, what it's going to be was those two, like, you know how sometimes they'll have a big, like a huge fan of an artist or something, and then you go like, you sit across the table from each other and you guys both answer trivia questions,
Yeah.
and whoever gets it, like, that's what I thought it was gonna, like, that was the only thing that was popping into my head. Like, what else could it be? Psych.
Well, yeah, that's a program like on the YouTube channel of some.
Yeah, I don't know who does it, but
Mhm.
I've seen a couple of those. And
Yeah.
so didn't think that what actually happened was gonna happen. So, I didn't get any details
They
about what I
wanted
was
to
doing in New
surprise
York.
you, obviously.
Oh, 1000%. 1000%. It was so tight-lipped, I didn't get the person who told me what was gonna happen was Ed, but I was too starstruck to even be like, to listen. So I didn't understand what was happening until it was happening. And he had told me like 5 minutes prior. Still didn't get.
So basically, they fly you to New York. You are done with it. What do you
That's
do? Like it's the first time in New York. Do you have to drive from the airport yourself? Where are you supposed to go if you don't know where you're going?
Tina.
Yeah.
Most of the battle was getting to New York. So I am a night owl. I am not good at waking up. I was supposed to leave LA at 6 a.m. and I was supposed to land in New York at 2. I get to LA at like midnight 30, whatever. I did not realize that security closes.
A flight is like you get to the airport 3 hours or 2 hours before your flight.
Unless it is a 6 a.m. flight and you don't know if you'll ever wake up. So you're going to get there the night before. So I didn't realize, my plan was that I was just going to sleep at the gate. I didn't realize that security closes and it opens at 4 a.m. So here I am at like 1 o'clock in the morning, trying to sleep on top of my suitcase, not successfully. I'm like curled up on my suitcase right next to the freezing cold door. Awful experience. And so then I finally get through security. It's 4 o'clock in the morning. I get to my gate. Everything's fine. I get in my seat at the plane. I eat a little bit. That's important to note for later. I eat like a sandwich and then I try to fall asleep. Okay, I sit in my seat at 6 a.m. At 8 a.m., I wake up and I am still at LAX.
Oh.
We were supposed to leave 2 hours ago. They're deboarding the plane.
Deboarding? So you were sleeping the whole time and everyone knew like the plane was delayed and you were sleeping?
I woke up. They deboarded us. And then I was like, I have to be in New York. So, like, the most important flight of my entire life. I had got to get there. So I call Nicole and she's like, let me give you someone who scheduled it. So I'm talking to him. I don't remember his name. I'm sorry. I think it starts with a D. I'm not sure. I was on the phone with him and he's like, let me see what I can do because now it's at like, they told us there would be a new plane at 9:30. That's fine. And then it got pushed to 2. And I'm like, that's the time I was supposed to land in New York. Like, And so then it just kept getting further and further back. So I'm calling him like, I need another plane because there was something wrong with the first one. I think.
And they are not telling you what's the issue.
Thank goodness they booked through a travel agency because travel agencies know what they are doing. Let me plug that right now. They got me a new plane. So then I think I go to Seattle, but I have to like run. It was leaving kind of soon. So then I hop on that plane and then at my connecting flight, but it was like counting down 20 minutes. People were taking their sweet old time getting off the plane. They had already mentioned as soon as we landed that some people have a connecting flight they have to reach. And me and these basketball girls were trying to be so patient, but then ended up being like, guys, we have to go. And we weren't that explosive, but I wanted to be. Guys, can we please just go? We have a connecting flight. We have got to get out of here. So everyone moved out of the way, and we just decided that's important to note because of how much I'm freaking out. I beeline it. I don't have time to eat. That's also why important to know I didn't eat all day. I ate that sandwich at 6 o'clock in the morning, and I didn't eat until midnight in New York. But I'm not there yet. So, well, I'm kind of there yet. I get my flight. We're all good. I land in New York. They get an Uber for me. My Uber, I tell the whole story about me getting here. My Uber takes me to a gas station and buys me some chips. I don't remember. He was a student somewhere. I don't remember his name or anything, but what a guy. He bought me some chips as a dinner because I didn't eat anything.
That's nice.
I'm finally in New York after midnight.
Midnight from LA, and
Mhm.
it's already now midnight the second day, so it's like 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
No way.
It was, that whole day is gone. Like, nothing. And so I messaged Nicole. I was like, was there something that I missed today? And she's like, no, it's just tomorrow. And I was like, thank goodness, because I had 2 friends that I was planning to meet up with being like, I've never met you or I haven't seen you since high school, so let's meet up. That whole day was gone. It was supposed to be like a sightseeing day in New York. It's okay. New York will be there next time I get there.
Okay, yeah.
So the 29th of September, I get up and it's raining. And guess who did not really plan for rain in her wardrobe outfit? Me. So my mom was like, go to a store. They're on every block. Go get an umbrella. So I did. And then I came back, I showered, I put my hair, I did my hair, I did my makeup, all that stuff. And I was just like, for an hour, just like sitting there, like, what am I going to do? Of course, I pop on the new album. I skip American Town because I'm not ready yet. And then at the end, I'm finally like, okay, I can listen to it now. Then I go downstairs and I eat probably one of the only meals that I've had in the last 28 hours, which is like their continental breakfast, which was like a whole buffet. It was a really nice hotel.
Okay.
Then I get a text saying, Jess is going to meet you in the lobby at 11 and she's going to take you to the surprise. And I'm like, okay. I grab Brandy's letter. Brandy wrote at a letter and a photo that she printed out and wanted him to sign. So I grab that, my purse, and a dream, and I just go out into the world and I live it. So I meet Jeff, and the first thing she does is like, hey, so you're going to be taking over MTV's story. It's on her phone. By the way, I want everyone to be clear that it was not on my phone. They do not trust me with that password, but it was supposed to be through my eyes. So I take that first video, which is probably take 2 or 3 because I was a little nervous.
But
And
wait, Kari,
Yeah.
like if someone just tells me, are you comfortable taking over MTV's account? I could be like, yeah, but like I insist on that, yeah, because I have no idea what it is about or what should I be doing. So with this, yeah, I would be like, I could do it if I have more details of like you tell me what I'm supposed to be doing. So she's like, okay, you're going to take over MTV. Here's the phone. And like, does she give you any more details? Because if I were in your position, I would be like, but I'm scared. What should I be doing? Like, what is this thing? You know? Do you have
I
any more
just get
information?
no, no, I didn't get anything. I was so in the dark. I don't even know.
No.
I don't know if anyone communicated who was going to tell me what. It seemed like everyone was hush hush and expected somebody else to tell me, but no one did until Ed twice. He had to twice. It was so funny. She took the video and basically was like, hi, I'm KARI. I'm taking over. I'm in New York right now. I'm pretty sure in the video I specified that I had no idea what was going on, but I was very excited. And all I knew is that we were walking to Times Square. That's all I know.
So you have no clue you're going to the pop-up even that day.
Hold on, I'm getting there.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm asking too much.
So we get to the surprise. And so before it happens, I am standing in Times Square and me and Jess were just talking. She's asking who I like to listen to. We're looking at all the billboards, all the stuff. Ed comes up on one of the long strips and I'm like, oh my gosh, there he is. And so the next time it comes around, I get a picture with it. I'm like pointing at it, being like, OMG. And so we're just talking all that stuff, and we're obviously waiting on something, but I'm chill. I could be waiting there 2 hours and don't care. But then Jess is like, let me see your phone. Let me take a photo. And I'm like this, all this stuff. And then I'm
Right.
posing for a long time. She's not looking at me. She's looking past me. And I'm like, something's happening behind me. I don't know what it is.
We watch
Mhm.
you and obviously we know what's going on, but
Mhm.
when I watch this, I'm like, in my eyes, you were taking so long to look behind you.
Well,
Like the suspense is really big.
like her eye line's not on me. It's past me. So then I'm like, okay, something's happening. Do I turn around? Do I not turn around? And it's like creeping up with the album and like all that stuff. And then I finally see it and I'm like, hi. I'm so excited to see him because like at one point, like I don't know what I'm doing there. I don't know if I'm actually gonna get to see him again or if it was just gonna be those 2 times. Obviously in hindsight now it's like, well, duh, but like I had no idea what was happening. So I just brought Brandy's letter and the signed or the photograph to sign just in case. But he was there. It was great to see him again. And then he gave me one of the vinyl albums, which I love. So he's like, how was it? I heard you had a hard time getting here. And I was like, yeah, it was a little crazy. And so he was like, Liam's excited too, because this is going to be the first time that one of his things is up on a big screen like this. Didn't really hear it. Still had no clue why I'm here because 5 minutes later, I was like, I don't know what's happening. And Ed was like, no one told you? And, well, no, Ed, sorry, you told me. I just apparently didn't catch it. And he's like, yeah, your video is going to be premiering in MTV and it's also going to be on MTV on cable and all that stuff. And I'm like, what? What? I was shook. Like my face on that screen was bigger than my entire body. Everyone basically in Times Square is going to see me cry, which is fine. Who hasn't seen me cry at this point? And honestly, you know how people say that New York really doesn't care about a lot of celebrities? Not a lot of people stopped and was like, oh, that's Ed Sheeran.
Are you kidding?
Really? And then there's one guy behind me in my favorite photo that's like giving Ed the side eye right behind, and it forever cracks me up. And then while the video is playing, like some people are like looking to see what we're looking at, but kept moving along. I don't know that they ever figured it out.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That really is New York.
It is the most New York.
New York is the biggest cliche then.
So, yeah, they really don't care. So we watched the video. This is the first time that I got to see it, but that's not even the first time I really got to officially see it because I'm just talking to Ed the whole time. Like, I won't shut up. I'm like, I see myself on the big screen. I don't think it's still hit me yet a year later what was happening, but I'm like, if he's right next to me, I'm going to talk to him. And we're like looking at like all that stuff. And then he's like, oh my gosh, yeah, Liam, get in here. Because we're taking photos and it's his video. I have that video too. It's really cute.
Your brain is like, come on, KARI. Ed is right there. You have so many questions to ask him. Just talk to him. Talk to him. Is that the scenario? Am I getting this correctly?
Yes.
What are you talking to him about?
We're just talking about the video, how crazy this is. He asked me if I've been getting a lot of attention. I'm like, yes. Yes, my Instagram has not quieted down for a little bit. We were talking just small talk, chit chat. We talked about SoFi. And he was like, did you see that I wore your bracelet on stage? I was like, yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if he was wearing it that day or not. But then I was like, oh, I gave Jess a bracelet, said thank you. I gave Kev a bracelet, said I'm the daddy.
Oh.
I gave Liam a bracelet, it said besties and our initials on it because I think he thinks I'm a bit ridiculous. I gave Mark a bracelet. I think that said thank you to Nicole, and Shelby also got a bracelet that said thank you. And then I gave Ed Sheeran a bracelet that said 13, and I wanted him to give it to Cherry. He said that he'd give it to her, and it said 13 because that was their song that the guy who opened up for him at the Subtract thing at the Shriners, the guy who opened up with him sang 13. And Ed had said afterward that was their song. So that was probably the reason why he opened up for him. So Ed complimented me on my friendship bracelet making skills, and I thought that was funny.
Did he see you give a bracelet to each person?
No.
He probably thought it was just for him and still complimented you on your skill.
That's so funny.
Are you a Swiftie?
Yes, I am. That's why I have beads. There's so many left.
I guessed it.
Okay. So I had mentioned that Sarah Michelle Gellar was in the audience, and I was like, oh my gosh, that was so cool. And she had mentioned that Sarah Michelle Gellar found out about the Bad Habits music video with the vampires, and she was like, if you would have told me, I would have done it. And he's like, you would have done it? And so I was like, get on it. You can make a second music video. Come on, do it, do it, do it. Because Buffy the Vampire Slayer being in an Ed Sheeran music video would have been.
Is he a fan of Buffy?
Mm-hmm. He is.
Oh, he would have been so happy to have her in the music video.
Yeah. We were talking about that, and we talked about Buffy a little bit.
So that's all happening in Times Square,
Yes.
not in the call.
Mm-mm. So this is the part where I'm laughing. When I started laughing about you mentioning the pop-up, because he goes to Nicole, who lived in New York.
Right.
And so she knows the areas. And so he was like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't know. And so he's like, Nicole, what should she do in New York? And she was like, you should see Times Square. You should do this, that, and the other. And they were like, so what do you want to do? And I said, hang out with you. And then Ed's like, okay, yeah. And when I tell you, Tina, it took me maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I finally realized that I invited myself to the rest of the New York trip, because that was not what was planned.
What? This whole time I thought it was planned.
I think the surprise was Times Square.
Do you mean they only fly you to New York to hang out by yourself, like surprise you with Times Square and give you a fund for MTV's Instagram and that's it? Of course they have to plan something for you.
Maybe it's not, but the way that the conversation was going, that's what it sounded like.
Like he was going to leave you, go sightseeing and go.
Yeah, like have a fun New York trip, like the night before was supposed to be. Which mean I had friends. Like there's a ton to do in New York. Like I could have done that. But when are you gonna get a chance to hang out with Ed Sheeran?
Your response is perfectly logical to me. I would have answered the same thing.
Thank you.
Wherever you're going, I'm sticking with you, mate.
Yeah. Like, until I can't anymore, can I please just hang out with you? And he's like, yeah. Do you like Raising Cane's? And I was like, yeah, I can eat, because I hadn't eaten much the day before. And so I remember walking up to the van and I say to him, I'm allowed in?
Oh, you're the sweetest.
And so he pops up into the van. So I'm like, this is insane. And so the most special thing about this whole entire experience, not even meeting him, not everything else, the most special thing that I cherish the most is that he takes his little iPad out right next to me and he's like, do you want to see pictures of my daughters?
Aww, that's the sweetest thing.
I was like, I'm about to see.
He's a proud daddy.
Such a girl dad. I got it right with that bracelet. Let me tell you.
That's so
I was like,
sweet.
I'm allowed to see them? What the heck? So I saw what those little girls looked like, and I feel so special.
Also, like the fact that he's getting to the van, it's the 1 minute where he has some like time off between, things in busy New York life and his busy life day. And the first thing he thinks of while getting in the car is pulling his iPad to look at the photos of his kids. That's adorable.
It is
I love
adorable.
him so much.
I can't not love him for the rest of my life.
What was your reaction when he
It probably started crying. I'm like, I
cried?
can't believe I get to see. He said, do you think it looked like me?
What did you say?
I didn't say anything because I didn't want to disappoint that man. But he did.
Oh, they do not look like him.
No, I don't think so. But
Don't they have like a mix of things? Like a bit of Cherry, a bit of Ed?
I've only seen a couple photos. He showed me a few videos, and they were so funny and so cute. I was like,
Oh,
poor guy.
no. He was probably waiting for you to say, "Oh yeah, they do look like you." But I mean, if you
The
don't think,
conversation quickly got off of that.
yeah, sure. But I mean, if I were Ed, I would prefer you to not say what I'm expecting from you because you don't believe that, instead
Mhm.
of just saying it for the sake of it.
Mhm. So there was so much that happened in the van. Let me think of.
Wait. While you remember,
Mhm.
let me pull out the post that you made. You said, "Thank you, MTV, for letting me take over your story. I got to hang out with one of my favorite people on earth and his super sweet team, eat some chicken, talk Ed's ear off, and ask questions I don't think anyone else sits up at night wondering. It was the best day of my life, and I will never forget it."
Mhm.
So, from this post, then my next question is, what are those questions?
When we were in the van, Nicole was like, "Show him your nails." And so I was like, "Oh, yeah." So the day before I hopped on the flight, I'd gotten my nails done, which I am not one to keep a manicure. I had white nails, and then on the ring finger of both, it was either a leaf or it said autumn or something along those lines. It was a little sticker on there. It had a word on it.
Okay.
And it was really cute. It matched the theme perfectly. It was kismet, pretty much. So
nice.
I got to show him the nails.
Mhm.
We were eating chicken, and I got to ask. It was so funny because I pulled up my phone and I pulled up the notes app just to see something else. I can't even remember what I was going to say or show to him, because then he sees the questions to ask Ed Sheeran next time list that I have on my phone. And he's like, "Hit me with them." And that was pulled
Oh
up.
my gosh. If you're okay with this, take a screen and then we'll add it to the post.
I'll take a screenshot.
That's so cool.
The last time I posted or I added to it was May 4th. So the date's off, but it's still funny.
Mm.
I'm just adding more and more to it, honestly. So
So he saw that before you even asked a question from your note.
that wasn't even why I got my notes app out. It was just the last thing that was up, which I probably like put something the day before. I don't even remember. It was hilarious. So he's like, "Hit me with them." Then I just started rapid firing all these questions. Did you have to re-record anything else or change any other lyrics besides "Don't"? So I started to ask this question, but then I caught myself and I was like, because there was like this rumor online about you were in a taxi and the guy you played the album for, and he's like, "I have little girls who would love your music, but can you like not swear?" And he's like, "Okay." So then he made Multiply not have any curse words at all. And so he's like, "Yeah, that's true." And I was like, "So it's true." Like, "Oh my gosh, thank you." But then I didn't actually ask the rest of the question. So I don't know if any other lyrics had curse words, because once again, that's a KARI question that nobody would ever think of or care about except for me.
Ah.
I have on here, "Tell him about my connection," which is ridiculous. Real quick, I'll tell you. My grandma's from Oxford. I'll say it very simply. My grandma's brother's daughter, her daughter-in-law's father's partner. I don't know if it's a business partner, life partner. I don't know what kind of partner. The partners lives in the same village and knows Ed and his parents.
What? That's the story?
Yes. So I got to tell him about that, and he was like confused, which everyone's confused, but I think it's hilarious. So I told him about that, and I found out later that he recorded an instrumental version of one of his songs. I don't think it was "Castle on the Hill." It was a slower song in like a field a few years ago. That was their field. They owned it.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you were like, "Oh, by the way, Ed Sheeran, I have a fun fact for you.
Mhm.
Someone's from my family related to my grandma who's from the UK owns a field and they know your family and you recorded your video from their field."
Unfortunately, I didn't find out the field until after I saw him, so I didn't get to tell him that part. So also in Times Square, I also got to tell him how much my West Virginia heart appreciated that he shouted out Country Roads by John Denver in not one, but 2 interviews that I saw on YouTube. And he got to tell me that after his wedding song and everything, they lifted both him and Cherry up and they all sang Country Roads, and I cried again in Times Square for that reason, because they sang Country Roads, and I love that fact.
Okay, you need to give more context to me and the listeners around the world who, are not American and don't really know each specificity about each state in America, which, for me, I know the song Country Road. Okay, I know the song, but I don't know its link to West Virginia.
The song Country Roads is about West Virginia.
See? I didn't know that. Okay, so
It's West Virginia in the song. It's officially a state song now, yes.
Okay. Every citizen of West Virginia loves this song.
Yes. Everyone comes out of the womb singing it, honestly. And it's a song that, like, when people even, like, go to a different country and you tell them they are from America, they start singing Country Roads. Like, it's crazy. Even though, like, half of the people in the United States don't even know West Virginia is a state. But yeah, it was just such a special connection for him to sing. West Virginia doesn't get recognized a lot of times. It's not like one of the first 30 states you think of whenever you think of the United States. But it was very special to me that my little state got a shout out. So I got to personally thank him for that.
I love that for you.
Thank you.
Really nice. And I love that in the podcast, we get to learn a little bit more about West Virginia because, like you said, we don't really know anything about it.
Yeah, I'm an advocate for my state, let me tell you.
Yeah.
So another question that I think you would enjoy this next question. Another lyric. It's about the guy in New Man, where he's like, eyebrows plucked in his asshole each. And so I was like, did he really? And he laughed so hard. And he said, whilst writing the song with his co-writer, they were just listing off, like, basically red flags on a man. And that was one of them. Yeah. But then I was like, people do that?
Oh, so that's why he laughs so hard. Oh my God. The KARI's questions are really, really special. Maybe special is not really unique.
Yes. This is one of the ones I wish I got to ask him, but I didn't get to the bottom of my list. This was right after a year ago when everyone was talking about the Roman Empire of men. I wanted to know what his Roman Empire was. It was like the peak of that meme. And I was like, it planned in my head. I was like, I'm going to ask Ed that and it's going to go viral. Didn't get to ask him that. Those are pretty much my questions. Someone was hosting a listening party.
While he did that, you weren't next to him?
I was.
You were?
We were in the van, and they had to have something to do with me. So it was like afternoon, like maybe around noon.
You missed one thing you didn't tell us. Because you're getting in the car, you're having some chicken in a car, you're asking him all this question, but where were you heading?
We're going to the pop-up.
Okay.
So before we officially started moving to the pop-up, I knew that he had to do the thing, but I accidentally invited myself along, so they had to have something to do with me while he was popping on Station Head. So Ed gave me his AirPods to listen to some of the next album. And he was like, you want to hear this? And I remember the vibe of it. I remember one of the song titles and I remember one of the lyrics, but I mainly just remember the vibe. And like the first song that he played for me was like, all I can say is that it's different from all of his other albums. So, but I'm also just very excited to hear it again.
Is he technically allowed to?
He did it anyway.
Or like he's just, okay, it's my music, just have a listen.
Yeah, so Nicole was like, we haven't even heard it yet. Oh my gosh. But Liam was taking videos and we didn't want anything to like get out. So he gave me the AirPods to listen to individually.
Mm.
Nicole's probably heard it now, but back then she was like, "We haven't even listened to it. What the heck? What the?" It was so funny.
Wow.
He gave me the AirPods to listen to, and I'm listening to all of these. He's talking to you guys on Station Head. He's on his way to the pop-up, the merch pop-up where he gets to meet all those fans.
That was a pop-up in New York outside,
Mm-hmm.
also organized by MX.
Mm-hmm.
It was pouring rain
The rain is important to the story.
as well. Yeah. So Ed, I think, was happy because the theme was real. Like, he
Yeah.
mentioned about the American fall, which was all nice and shiny. And, like, this day was really gloomy and gray, like in the UK, or raining. I think we'll post a few photos to remind people of the pop-up. Basically, they had pumpkin activities around, pumpkins,
Mm-hmm.
a little phone booth with pumpkins, customized with autumn variation. What did they have? Like a little tent to do some coloring activity or something like that? What was it?
I was not in that section, so I do remember the little hay bales and the pumpkins and the sign. I got a picture next to the sign, and I remember a tent because everyone was standing under it because it was pouring the rain. I didn't see the phone booth, but that's fun if that was there. I didn't get to notice that. So I was not in that section that everyone else was. I was with his people. So
Okay.
I was listening to the songs. It was very, very hectic. There was security around. Most of the security that was there did not know that I was the fan, that I was with them. So they were like,
Oh.
"You got to be over here." But then Jess and Nicole were like, "No, she's with us." And it was raining and there were so many people. It was so hectic. And so I was like on the side. I did not get to go to the other end where all the fans got to see what was happening. So that's probably why I
Oh,
didn't get
that's
to see the phone
why.
booth. Yeah.
Okay, I get that now.
So whilst all of this hectic was happening, I lose one of the AirPods. I lost Ed Sheeran's AirPods.
No.
Yes.
How? But I thought you were listening in the car while he was talking to us
Mhm.
during the listening party.
He gave one of the iPads to someone and was like, "Keep them playing." So I listened to most of the album.
You did?
Yeah. I listened in the van when we got out of the van under like this. I felt so cool because it was definitely in a place where most people don't. Like, it was a separate like parking garage just for the important people. Like, we went like in the back end of things. Like, you felt it was so cool. I was listening on the walk to, and I was listening until like one of the songs ended, and it was too hectic for me to be like, "Hey, keep playing it." So I listened to like a good amount of songs. I don't know how many, but I'm so excited to see if I remember anything when I listen to it whenever it releases.
Because now all your thoughts are probably all fading.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember a few like titles of songs or the vibe of the album or something?
Mm-hmm.
At least.
Vibe, just one title. Like
Harry.
I know the opening song, and I will
Yeah.
definitely remember it when I hear it. And I remember a specific lyric. And so whenever he asked me later, I was like,
Interesting.
I like that one. But yeah, so I don't remember hardly anything else because it was like the first time you listen to it and a lot of things are going on.
So by that time, you're still listening to the album and you're out
Mhm.
of the car in that venue parking lot, whatever it is. Everyone's moving around you and you're still listening to a new Ed Sheeran album that no one knows about yet. That is a crazy situation.
Yeah, it is.
So where was Ed when he was talking to us during that listening party?
He was in the van.
Okay.
We were probably either stopped or driving to the pop-up location.
Okay.
So I'm in the crowd. Security's everywhere. There's fans lining up. Ed's also like playing a few songs on his guitar, and it's hectic. It's raining. I put the AirPods in my pocket, and one does not reach my pocket, and I don't find out till later. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I lost it. So, flash forward.
Harry, you had the one job.
I know I had one job. And so I go to Ed's meeting fans. It's like a whole meet and greet situation. It's fine. Everything's cool. I'm just vibing. I'm just happy to be there. Everyone leaves. We get out of the rain. We're in this lobby, and I'm not entirely sure where we're at. It was just right next to the place. And Ed comes up to me. He's got a jet back to England. We say our goodbyes. I go, I'm so sorry. I lost one of your earbuds. I was like devastated. And he's like, you know what? It's not a problem. I have like 8 pair. Keep it as a memento.
No.
So, if you want to see Ed Sheeran's AirPods, I found the other one in a puddle outside. That's why I said that the rain was important.
Yeah.
And this is my most treasured possession that goes with me literally everywhere.
Oh my gosh. So in the end, you finally found the missing one.
I
And
go
so
back.
now you have Ed's AirPods from that day.
Yeah. And it was in a puddle. Like, I haven't even tried to see if it works. I don't connect my phone to it.
Why didn't you?
I don't want anything to happen. They're just AirPods to me. I keep them charged, but I don't listen to that through them. Yeah, this one's probably water damaged. But I went back after the whole crowd was left and found them. And it was like
Like finding a needle in a
haystack. Yeah.
yeah.
was
Like
crazy.
wow, it's crazy that you got to find them.
And it wasn't even where I was standing. It had to have been kicked. It had to have been like kicked away somewhere. I looked everywhere. Probably got trampled on too, honestly.
That is crazy.
It was crazy. And so he's like, they had to jet off to England. We took like 3 or 4 or 5 different like bye videos for the ending of that day to close out the MTV story.
I think you mentioned the first story you did for MTV to say,
Mhm.
hi, I'm KARI, but not once did you mention recording one of them.
Because I wasn't recording them. Jess was. She captured all those little moments that you saw. Because if you like look, like I either have my phone with me, like when I'm asking Ed the stories or the questions, or like it's because it wasn't on my phone and I wasn't the one doing it. It's through my eyes. And yes, for the most part, it's through my eyes. But like I'm so glad that she captured it the way that she did.
Because you're living in the moment and she's just
Oh, yeah.
filming you while stuff are happening. And you don't even have to care about it.
Yeah. The only ones that were talking to the phone was me at the beginning. The one where Ed was like, we're about to go to the MS pop-up, so we got some Ranger Canes and we're ready. That one and then the one at the end. The one at the end was taken like several times because I think the battery percentage popped up. And then one was like he announced that he was going back to England and he's like, I'm actually not gonna say where I'm headed. And then the third one was the one that you saw. It was so funny.
When you said that, I'm like, oh, he's like me, like saying random shit and then be like, oh no, I should probably do that again.
You probably shouldn't say that. Yeah. It was hilarious. Then he leaves and my day has been completed and I'm just sitting there on the couch with Nicole and Jess and just like trying to process the last 2 hours of my life. Crazy. I went outside. I got the AirPod. Thank goodness I found it. But then I was like, give me an AirPods. And it was like, and then we started airdropping all the videos to my phone. So I got to have them. And it was like 1 p.m. I think my flight left at my flight was at 7. I was going to plan to get the airport at 4 and it was 1. But it was going to take like 3 hours just to get to the airport because of how much flooding there was. So I should have had like a few, like at least one more stop, but I didn't get to. So I just went to the airport. It was fine. I will see New York another time. That's completely fine with me. It was literally just to go to New York to do that thing and then come straight home. It was the funniest possible outcome.
Well, you got what you asked for. Ed asked you, oh, so what do you want to do now that you're in New York? You said, I want to hang out with you. So that's what you did.
Thank goodness that I said that. That's a good thing I didn't like research things, really cool things to do in New York City. Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone would have not done the same thing. So yeah, it took me a long time to get to the airport. and I finally got there. And then my plane was delayed a little bit. I got back relatively easily. Oh my gosh. So I forgot to mention one more thing that happened in the van. I told Ed that I was going to go to England in the next month, actually a couple weeks from then, to go see family that I've never met before, bury my grandma's ashes with her grandma, and like just see the city. And like it's going to be a whole family trip. And we've never done that before. We've always planned on it. And so this was a great way to do it, or a great time to do it. I got to explain that all to him, and I was like, and I'm going to go to Birdie's Blossoms. And he's like, yeah. And I was like, I don't know what day we're going to get to do it. It's probably going to be like a Tuesday or Wednesday. And he's like, well, actually, I think we're closed on Monday and Tuesday, but we'll open for you. And I'm like, sir, what? You've already done so much. That man is just such a doll.
That's literally so sweet.
I know, right?
I know we always say how sweet Ed is and how nice he is and all the kind things and how thoughtful he is and everything. But each time, there's one more thing.
That man's such a giver. And Mark said that he could stop by if he wasn't doing anything. And I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, come. So it ended up being my birthday when we did London. So
Oh, it's so nice. When is your birthday?
October 17th. So it was a Tuesday.
Oh,
And it was Taco Tuesday.
I hope you had a great birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, so Mark was at my birthday party. He ended up showing up, and they played American Town for me twice.
Oh, that's definitely your music
I
now.
got to have tingly Teds with my tacos. The waitress who was there, she said, Mark played the wrong one. That was so funny. And we hung out for a bit. I got to take some pictures with him. We talked about a lot of things. And that's whenever I was like, amaretto and apple juice, will you try it? And they were like, we'll think about it, but they're probably not going to put amaretto and apple juice in that bar.
Okay.
And then Mark, he was like, you're the one who got the AirPods. And I was like, yeah, oh my gosh. And I showed him and I opened it and he's like, oh, so you found the other one. Nice coincidence. And I was like, no, actually, it really was in a puddle. Like, and he was like, oh, you just got free AirPods. And I was like, you can give them back to him. It's okay. And he's like, no.
I would have felt terrible if you really believed that.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, no, they really are. You could probably listen to them and hear water in them. And he's like, no, they're for you. And I'm like, that's hilarious. So then I got to take some pictures. I got a Birdie's Blossom hat. That was really, really sweet. The last thing I think I have to cover is February 4th of this year, which was the day that the majority of the living room crew got to meet up.
Oh,
Yeah.
actually had no idea about this.
So it was Brantley, Maynard, Alex, me, Noreen, John, Emily, Holly, Kristen, Danielle, and Kira. So we were only missing 3. And obviously, like, I was just saying the names, but more people were there because of the people who were featured in the video. But whoever got Amazing, Blue, and Paige did not get to show up. But we're planning on more. We haven't gotten a chance to do a second one yet, but we're always planning on it for next one. And that's whenever I need them to finish my vinyl. But yeah, we got to hang out. It was great. It was also the day of the Grammys, and Ed was in LA. And I was like, guys, he knows where we are. He could show up. He didn't, but he could, you know?
But how did you connect? Who created that group chat?
I think it was Brantley. I think she was like, wouldn't it be fun if we all found everyone? And I was like, oh my gosh, please. Because I wanted to talk to everyone. And so we made a group chat and we have the DMs and we're all still a little bit connected.
So nice. I'm so happy about this.
Yeah, someone's having a baby soon. Someone's getting married soon. Big life updates that are happening in there. So it was very, very special. And I love that group. We're also so fun.
That's so cool. Like, beyond the fact that you were all connected with that experience, that no one can really understand what you lived. This experience is so unique, and You one of the rare person who can say, okay, Ed came to my house and recorded a song live for you guys and made an album out of it. Like, this is so crazy. And beyond this experience that you all shared, now you're part, like, you're still connected that way. You're still part of each other's life. I'm so happy that you got to meet each other and gather like that. This is great. Did you take any photos of that day?
Yes. We have Holly brought her Autumn Variations guitar, which is so pretty. We got to see it. I'm pretty sure John was the one who played a song off of it, and we all sang one of Ed's songs off of it.
Beautiful.
We had someone was making like a little vlog, so we have videos and photos. And we actually, because it was Grammy night, we took 2 different videos of either yay, Ed won, or if he won a Grammy that night. It was hilarious. I don't think it ever got posted.
Yeah, no, I don't think Ed won that year.
That's probably why the video wasn't posted. But we did take it just in case. It might be on somebody's phone somewhere. Just LOL.
That's really funny, actually.
It's so funny. But yeah, we were just catching up, eating food, and watching the Grammys on our phones and scrolling through Twitter. It was a very fun experience. I brought my ukulele and the AirPods, so anyone who wanted to hold them could hold them.
Really thoughtful of you, KARI.
Thank you. They're my prized possession.
Oh, wow. When I asked you to be on the podcast, I knew this was going to be a big episode with a lot to talk about. I knew that despite of knowing the main facts of the story, because it was all filmed and we saw your videos and stories, we actually didn't know all these details. And I knew you asked Ed a lot of questions, but there's a lot of details that you got to tell us, and it made the story even more special. And I hope all the listeners enjoyed it, because I feel that's a story that was worth being told. Thank you, KARI.
Sorry for the end length. I just like to cover every detail.
I like to hear all, trust me.
I'm glad.
And I'm sure I'm not the only one. That story was incredible. Thank you so much. Now, KARI, if you have listened to the podcast before, you will know that I always end the podcast with a last question.
Yes.
I ask each guest to leave a question for a future guest. And I'm going to ask you one today that was left for you. Are you ready? Your question is, of all of the extra little jobs Ed did during the North American mathematics tour, like Starbucks or the Lego store, for example, which one would you want to be his coworker for? And you know why I'm asking you this question is because during that time of the tour in America in Subtract, he did all these kind of pop-ups and these little jobs, as I call them in this question. And you had this great experience with him. But if you ever had this experience of getting to see Ed again, and this time you were his colleague trying to, help him at a restaurant or at a cafe or whatever he did. I actually don't remember all the jobs he did. But which one would you pick?
I like this question because I'm going to shamelessly plug something. So that I didn't get to actually tell Ed, so it's on my list for next time. So I work at a flower shop occasionally, and I would love to see Ed try to make a flower arrangement. It would be so fun because one, like, it's up to creativity.
Yeah.
And it can be frustrating if it doesn't look the right way, or you can just embrace it. I have been a part of a lot of workshops where I either help someone make one or not, and it's always fun. Except if you're a perfectionist, then it gets really frustrating sometimes. But other than that, it's really fun. And I actually made, when Equals came out, for Halloween, I dressed up as Ed from the Bad Habits music video, and I made a TikTok with a silk flower arrangement from the entire album. And it has a lot of little Easter eggs from different parts of the songs. And so thinking of that question, I would love to see Ed make a flower arrangement for someone.
Oh, so you'd spend a day at a flower shop
Mm-hmm.
making bouquets with Ed.
Mm-hmm. That's my
Wow,
answer.
that's a
That'd be
nice
fun.
one. That's a nice one. And you know what? I love how you answered the question, because in my mind, and I think in the mind of the guest who asked this question,
Mhm.
it was like choosing from all the little job that Ed did, you know,
Oh, and
which
not a
one
new
would
one?
you do with him? And so you picked one you would picture him doing, and you didn't picture yourself doing a job with him. And the question is, which one would you want to be his co-worker for? And so you didn't even put,
Answer the question.
yeah, so I kind of love how you answered it, but you still have to answer the actual question for my guest, of course.
Okay, the one that he was at, of the jobs that he did, I think making a pizza is really fun. Or the Philly one. I love how they were like, "That you made a really good Philly cheesesteak." So, yeah. Either the pizza, which I'm pretty sure was in Pittsburgh, where he handed out the pizzas,
Yeah, probably.
or maybe that was no. Anyways, um, yeah. So let's go with that.
The pizza. This
Mhm.
makes sense. Yeah. Because all of this question, we're going back to the beginning of,
Dominoes.
no, we're going back to the beginning of our conversation with these crazy questions you asked about the pizza at the airport. No, on the tarmac in the plane. And so you're going back and actually making a pizza with Ed. And then, you know what, Carrie, your dreams come true, because then you get
I'll
to
know
ask
what I.
him. You get to ask him your question of what kind of pizza did you have? And what's your favorite toppings?
I may be the most ridiculous person on this planet.
No, of course not. But
Hello.
I feel like it's a full circle. We almost back at the beginning when we talked about pizza. I love that this was your question. Thank you for answering it. It was really lovely. And maybe we'll get to see Ed arrange flowers one day as well. That would be nice. I think he would like it because he likes to paint. So
He's very artistic.
yeah, he is. So it's actually a useful skill.
It is.
I
It's
think
very
Cherry
fun.
would love that. Thank you so much, Carrie. Incredible anecdotes, incredible story. Thank you for sharing this with us. And I hope you'll get to meet Ed another time. And I know that he really enjoyed his time with you as well. So I'm sure he will be happy to hear from you again.
I miss him so much.
Thank you, Carrie. Goodbye.
Bye.
Thank you.